But you have made a difference in this community, and people who don't know who you are out there really should know who you are, because, like I said when I wrote your article, is that you've done more for LGBT political activism in the last year, in the last couple of years actually, than anybody I know.
Well, it's fun. So people should get involved.
Yeah, right.
I mean, and really, I mean, people often ask how do you do it, because it's not my full-time job. I do it for free.
Although it is a full-time job.
It is a full-time job, but it's not the job that puts money in my bank account.
Right.
So, but for me, it's fun. For me, it's, when people are like, well, what do you do as a hobby? I'm like, create political action. And I enjoy it, and I'm okay with spending nights doing that, because it really is fun, and the results are fun, and I get to meet great, amazing people in this community and in other communities. So it's awesome.
Now, I'm put you on the hot seat here. There are times where the LGBT community doesn't really get along. You being at the forefront, and you've seen, especially after this community summit, do you think that this year is going to be different, where people are going to go and support each other instead of fighting each other?
You can't say that everyone's going to support each other, because they're not. There are some people that just don't want to support their fellow activists. But I think that after this summit, and after some of the wake-up calls that we've had as a community, that the majority of politically involved people will get along and will work together. And I think that it's coming down to the point where you're either going to work together or we're not going to work.
Now, why wouldn't people want to work together? I mean, don't we all have the same goal, or are there certain groups that just have one goal and don't really care about the other parts of...
Honestly, I think that people need to ask themselves what's more important, your ego or equality. And if your answer is your ego, we'll make you a statue and we can all move on. Because for some people, it seems like they don't get the big picture. And they don't realize that, yeah, we're different, and we don't always agree, and we have different tactics, and we have different envisions of what's going to get us to the end goal of equality. But we all have that same end goal, and so how do we get there together? And there will always be a Martin Luther King, and there will always be a Malcolm X, which is something that you told me. And I think it's important to, how do those two very different philosophies work together and feed off of each other and bounce off of each other? And if you're not willing to do that, then I have to ask you, what are you really in this for? Because if you're in it for equality, you would realize that there are these other 40 amazing people doing awesome work with great talent. How are you going to work with them? Because you're not going to achieve equality without them. So put your ego aside and start to work together, or we'll build you a statue.
So if people wanted to get involved with HERO, you have a website?
Yes, it's be-a-hero.us.
US. And HERO meetings are?
The first Wednesday of every month at 7 o'clock at One Voice Community Center.
Okay. Well, thank you, Meg.
Thanks.
That was harmless, right?
Yeah, except I kind of too much.
All right, we'll be right back.